Okay, I've been looking at Eclipse a little bit, and I think I was not giving you the best answer on how to get a new program set up. So I'm going to go ahead and do the homework problem on the odd and even numbers. I forget which number it is. Let me take a look here real quick. It was a 2.25. Okay, so we're going to look at how we can create that, how to set up a project that doesn't just say hello and all that stuff. Okay. So I did this in the other video, but this will be a better way, a more thorough way of doing this, okay? So let me go ahead and share the screen here. Okay, so here we are in Eclipse. I'm going to do a file. I'm going to do a new Java project. Okay, so in the project name, you can just call it, CSC 402 if you want, or you can call it Java programming, whatever makes sense to you. Okay. And what this is going to do here, make sure that you take a look. I'm using the default location, but it's in my home directory on the Mac as user/David Frazier /Eclipse workspace /CSC402. Okay. Just to avoid space problems, shouldn't be, but I'm just going to go ahead and run it together. Okay. Here we're going to pick on the Java execution environment. We want to do the smallest number we can. Okay, so for that one that's installed is the 11. Okay, so I'm then going to, we have the option here. Before, in the last video, I had my source files and my executable files in two different directories. Okay, since we're going to be turning them both in, I think it makes sense just to have one folder that's going to have both. So if you go to the users, your username, or whatever your home directory is, the Eclipse workspace /CSC402, whatever you call this, all your files are going to be there. Okay. And if it makes more sense to you, you can set up a different project for every chapter or whatever you want to do. But I think this is, I'm going to dump everything here. Okay. I'm going to use a project folder as the root for the sources and the class files. Okay. So when you hit finish, okay, it gave me an issue, but I think that was because it was creating it. Let's see if it actually works. So let me do a new class. Okay, and I'm picking that as the source folder. Okay, and I'm going to call this one, this is chapter 2 problem 25. Okay, it's public. I need to put in the public static void main. Okay, all of that. Okay, so we don't need this. Let's go ahead and make sure this is working before we go any further by going ahead and do a printout. So do system.out.println hello with a semicolon at the end. Okay. So I'm going to go ahead, and you can also here, there's this green arrow is also a run if you don't want to have to do the run. Okay. Going to do that. It worked. It says hello. Okay. And further, we can look over here and we can see if we can find that directory. Okay, so we can go, you can always just do a search for CSC 420. Okay, and I'm going to search this Mac. That's not searching for directories. That's interesting. So let me search for my C2P, yeah, right here. Here's my class file. Okay, so I can right click on this and say show an enclosing folder, and there we go. Okay, so now if we go backwards, we can see that we're in the C402 directory. Okay, there's a way to show its little path, and I don't see how I'm doing that, but you get the idea. Okay, but anyway, that's where it's going to be. So it's in my home directory, in my Eclipse workspace file. It's then in my the name I gave it, the CSC402. Okay, so that's what we can use to upload. Okay, so let's go back to the program at hand here. Okay, so this one wants us to, let me read the program. It's 225, so I think it just wants us to write an application that reads an integer and determines and prints whether it's odd or even. Okay, And again, we're going to use the remainder operation here, like we said in the other video. So I'm going to start here with just some generic comments. Okay, so this is chapter 2, program 25. And I can go ahead and actually move this over. And this is going to determine if input integer is odd or even. Okay, and then you want to put your name and you want to put the date. Okay, if you may need more if it's more complicated, but you want to put at least this much. Okay, so remember here also that for this program, I'm going to need to input a number. Okay, so I need to make sure that I'm going to grab the scanner. Okay, so I'm going to look up, it's been a while since I've programmed Java a lot. So I want to make sure I'm getting my syntax correct. And you can do the same here. I think I have to import, yeah. So I'm going to import the java.util.scanner up here. Okay, semicolon. Okay. Two ends in scanner. I hit 2, that didn't come through. Okay. So that should be okay now. What's it unhappy about now? Not sure why it's unhappy now. I've done something here. Yeah, I don't know what it's just done. Okay, it's under the public class. Yeah. I've input. Oh, I have to. I'm sorry. I know the problem. I have to import this. This will all become second nature to us. Once we've done it a while, you have to import before you get into here. That was the trouble. There we go. Okay. So again, when you see all this red stuff going on, you know something's wrong. So you got to fix it. Okay, the red line under my name just means it's not spelled correctly. We don't care about that. Okay, so now we have our scanner. So then the first thing we're going to do in our program then is going to be get our number that we're going to determine if it's odd or even. Okay, that's the first step. So we're going to do a scanner, call it input, is going to be equal to a new scanner. Again, this is a syntax we're always going to use, and it's weird because Java is weird sometimes, but it's what we're going to do. Okay, again, this is much more straightforward in Python, but we're not in Python. We're in Java. Okay, so this is going to set up for us the ability to read from the user keyboard. Okay, we're not reading anything yet. We're just setting that up. Input is now a scanner. The scanner is going to move something from the keyboard to a variable. Okay, so now I have to create my variable. Let's call it number. I'll call it n. It's fine. Is going to be equal to the input that we have. So I'm picking that scanner object. And notice here, it's going to give me all of the things I can do with that. I can do an integer, I can do a byte, I can do a short. If you go on the list, you can do all kinds of stuff. Okay. All kinds of options. But in this case, I want a next int. Okay. So I select that, and it's going to grab from the keyboard whatever I type in. Okay. And then again, if it's me, I'm just going to do a system.out.println on that n, just to make sure. Okay, I want to double check it. So let's run it. And oh, I didn't do a prompt. So I can enter something and it works. See, but I forgot to do a prompt. So have to do a prompt. So again, what it didn't ask me anything because I didn't tell it to. Okay. I'm used to the raw input from, or the input from Python. Okay, so I have to do a system.out.print. Remember, I don't want the print line, I just want to print here. And I just want to print out, enter a number, enter an integer. Okay, put a colon, put a space, just so it's going to look better. The print means there's not going to be a new line. It'll be right there. Okay, let's run that now. Now it's going to ask me, input an integer for 4. Okay, so that's working. Note that it may ask you to save your file. I think I gave it, I had a menu option to just do that automatically. So that's what I did. I'm going to leave this print. I'm probably going to need it in a minute. Okay. So now let's go ahead and look at whether it's even or not. Okay, so I can say if, in parentheses, n mod 2. So if I take my number, divide it by 2, and my remainder is equal to 0. Okay. Then I know the number must be even. So I can do my system dot out dot print line, because I want it to be a new line character, even. Okay. We don't know about else yet, so I'm going to have to do this as a separate one. So let me do an if. The opposite of that then is if n mod 2, so I take my n and divide it by 2, if it does not equal 0, okay, then, and again, I'm putting in things the way I like to do them, but you can do whatever you want. I guess I didn't need that after all. I could have copied it, but I'm just going to retype it. Okay. Go ahead and line things up. You don't have to, so you're not in Python, but it's always a good idea. We do a system. Oh, and see, I forgot my semicolon, but it's going to warn us. System.out.println odd semicolon. Okay, should be it. Should be all we need. Okay, it's named the right thing. It's named the C2 P25. So for chapter 2, problem 25. Okay, and then if I go, sorry, I didn't want to do a run. Do a run. Enter an integer. Let's try one. Let's try 1, 2, 5. It's odd, which is correct. Let's run it again. Let's try it with a 1, 2, 2, which is even. Okay, so seems okay. Okay. So it still gives me a warning on this one as it did before. It must be something different about this version, is my guess. A version 11 issue. It needs to be closed in some way. The book doesn't talk about that. It's not that I saw. I understand that we've opened a stream that we don't close, but I think the book hasn't told us how to do that yet, and it may not have been required. So I wouldn't worry about that particular error. Okay, so now we're done. Okay, so you want to make sure it's saved. It's already saved. It didn't ask me to do that. Okay, so now you can go to Moodle, and once you're in Moodle, you can go to the assignment, the homework. Okay. And then you can click on, I'm not set up as a student, but from here you could click on that you want to submit something. You would go to your Eclipse workspace directory, to the CSC402 directory. You would then grab the .java file, which is your text, which is the program, and the .class file, which is the executable. Upload both of those, and you would have completed that portion of the program. Okay. So hopefully that makes more sense. And we've now set up this directory that we like, okay? And again, that was doing the file new Java project. It's going to set up that for us, okay? And from that, we're going to be able to move forward. And notice that when we did that way, for whatever reason, this one had the package. This one didn't do a package. It's okay. It took care of it. You don't have to have a package. In fact, it just kind of gets in the way, okay? So I think that works now. Okay, that's good. So that's what I'm looking for. Hopefully this will be helpful to you. Okay, if you have any other questions, make sure you let me know. It's looking like Thursday is going to be the best time to meet. So we'll have to find a time. I'm still nailing down the time on that. Okay, see you guys later.